What's up guys, it's Ender. Today we'll be looking at the recommended gears for one of the newly retrofitted ships, Independence. As it turns out, her retrofit turns her into single-handedly the best buffer for carriers in the game currently, so let's go and talk about that, starting now. Starting off with some basics, Independence is a light carrier from the Eagle Union. You could have gotten her from a past event, or you can actually now buy her in the core data shop for 1200 core right over here. So in case you want her, you can go and get her from here. And she has recently just gotten a retrofit, making her stats and skills a lot better. For her stats now, her aviation and HP are now in the middle of the road, and she actually has quite high anti-air and actually has the highest reload out of all carriers. Also, one thing that you may have skipped out on is that her retrofit actually gives her +1 fighters and torpedo bombers, so instead of having 3 of each now, she now has 4 of each. This actually increases her damage output by quite a nice amount. Now for her skills provide a bunch of useful utility and buffs for a variety of ships. For her first skill, gives her a very nice 15% efficiency boost on any Eagle Union planes that she has equipped. Her second skill, Knights of the Sky, gives her a guaranteed additional TBF Avenger airstrike whenever she launches an airstrike. In addition, when she's sorted with at least 1 or more Cleveland-class light cruisers, she increases their light cruisers' firepower by 8%, and she increases her own aviation and accuracy by 15%. In addition, this also improves her guaranteed airstrike. Finally, for her retrofit skill, if you remember what Casablanca's skill is, it's actually the exact same thing. So for all carriers and light carriers in the same fleet as her, she will increase their aviation by 12% and reload by 10%. So let's go see right there. And she also decreases the loading time of her first airstrike by 25%, and it doesn't stop there, because at the start of battle, she also increases the reload and aviation of all carriers and light carriers by 8% for all fleets that Independence is not in. In Operation Siren, this buff is going down to 4%, but it's still nice to have nonetheless. These buffs from her retrofit skill make Independence a very good addition to any carrier fleet, and her retrofit definitely is worth it for anyone that has the resources to do so. For Independence's recommended gears, first of all we have the fighter plane slot. Ideally you would want planes from the Eagle Union for Independence's fighter and torpedo bomber slot, because she gets that extra efficiency if they're from the Eagle Union. You can see this by this green indicator right here. So if a plane was not from the Eagle Union, you can go and tell first of all, well, by this faction right here, and if you equip it, then it will not have that green indicator if it's not from the Eagle Union. So back to the recommended gears, the top picks would definitely be either the Tiger Cat right here, which is from the Eagle Union for more damage, or alternatively, if you want a faster reload and more anti-air, the F4U Corsair Pirate Squadron that you can buy from the core data for 800 core is also a wonderful option, also from the Eagle Union. A third option could be the Hellcat right here, it's also from the Eagle Union, and everything else, some other great alternatives that are not from the Eagle Union, so they're probably not going to be as good, include the Sea Hornet right here for more damage, and some other fighters that are very similar to each other include the Sea Fang, the Shidenkai, and the Repu right here. For a budget option, you can always go with the purple F4U Corsair. It's also from the Eagle Union, and this will serve you well until you get your gold gears. Now for Independence's torpedo bomber slot, of course I shouldn't have to say that if you have the Rainbow Wyvern, then of course it's still the best in slot, even though it's not from the Eagle Union. Some other very competitive alternatives though that are from the Eagle Union include the XTB2D Sky Pirate, the TBM Avenger, and finally the TBD Devastator. All of these are very good. To go and break down individually, the Sky Pirate is very good because it has an extra torpedo compared to other straight torpedo bombers, making it do a lot more damage. The Avenger is of course very good because it has a nice reload and a very powerful skill that increases your damage against battleships and battlecruisers, and it can also inflict the flooding debuff. Finally, for the Devastator, this is a very interesting choice because it actually has a very weak first airstrike, but its preceding airstrikes are very strong. Now Independence, as you may recall, actually gets a 25% faster first airstrike, so then this tiny little debuff can go and be negated perfectly, and you can use the TBD Devastator quite well. Some other alternatives that aren't from the Eagle Union, so they will be a little bit worse, for converging torpedo lovers, you can always use the Ryusei or the JU-87 over here. You can use the Barracuda if you don't have any of those other options, And if you want to use Independence as a full support, you can always use the Core Data Swordfish, that decreases the speed of enemies hit by this aircraft. For Independence's anti-air gun slot, the highest rarity gun that you have will work just fine on her. It doesn't matter too much what you put on this slot, but if you are finding out that your Independence is somehow missing her airstrikes, then you could consider putting on an accuracy anti-air gun such as the Bofors Stag or the Hazamar, but keep in mind that this is primarily reserved for battleships or battlecruisers, so keep that in mind. And if you want to take advantage of Independence's high anti-air stat, well, relatively high anti-air stat, you could use a higher damaging anti-air gun, such as the Sexy Bofors or the regular Bofors, but again, keep in mind that the Sexy Bofors is primarily reserved for ships that have an even higher anti-air stat, such as Sandy Retrofit. This is why I don't want to talk about anti-air guns. And finally, the Golden Roomba is for people that don't really care, and this is generally a good option. For any budget alternatives, you could always use the Purple Roomba or the twin 127mm gun mount. Finally, for Independence's auxiliary gears, just like every other carrier in the game, all they want is a massive amount of aviation, and no item does it better than the Gold Steam Catapult. It provides 100 extra aviation and 75 HP. For some other Gold Steam Catapult substitutes, this includes the Frontier Medal, which you can get from the Memento tab. It's basically a Gold Steam Catapult, except it has 15 less HP, which really is barely any difference. You can also use, for any budget-friendly people, the Homing Beacon, which is 500 core data. It has 60 aviation, and it decreases the airstrike loading time by 4%. Also from the core data shop is also the aviation fuel. You can use this for 70 aviation and also a faster plane and a more beefier plane. The aviation oil tank is also okay. It has 70 aviation and 60 HP, and it also increases the HP of any aircraft equipped by 120. And finally, for the last alternative, you can use the Purple Steam Catapult, which I don't have, but it's basically a worse version of the Purple Aviation Oil Tank. Now for Independence's Battle Showcase, we'll be doing a run of 12-4, and first of all, let's go and take a look at the formations. So this is number 1, and this is number 2, and let's find out how much bonus aviation Independence can get. Well, New Jersey is here, and she gets a 15% aviation boost. Baltimore is there, she gives a 15% aviation boost as well, so now we're at 30%, and now we have Independence's skills, who, since we have Montpelier in, we get another 15% aviation boost, now at 45%, and finally I forgot, Independence's retrofit skill gives a nice 12% aviation boost, so now we're at a 57% aviation boost for Independence. So without further ado, let's see how this turns out. Hopping into the first battle, Independence from her retrofit skill is going to get a 25% decrease in her first airstrike, so this airstrike coming up should be Independence, and let's see how that 57% aviation boost turns out. Now of course, within that, she also gets that extra guaranteed airstrike from her skill, and Ticonderoga's airstrike will finish the job. That is battle number 1. And Independence gets the MVP. Heading into the next battle, it's going to be really just the same thing. Now also, Montpelier gets that 8% firepower boost from Independence as well, so it's a win-win. And of course, the Eagle Union has naturally just a very high anti-air stat, so then they can crush 12-4 very easily. Of course, with New Jersey supporting Barrage and Ticonderoga's airstrike as well, they are just making clean work of this stage. Look at those planes getting melted out of the air. And Independence is going for her second airstrike already, and that cleared out everything else. That's battle number 2. Ticonderoga gets the MVP this time. And since we're on the topic of Eagle Union, we can talk about PR4. Now, I forgot to make a video on that, so whoops. But anyway, since I'm using an Eagle Union Vanguard, I am currently farming for Anchorage. Once I get done Anchorage, I will be probably moving on to my favorite PR4 ship, which is none other than, of course, August von Parzival, because she's hot. And anyways, that's battle number 3. Woo! Getting into battle number 4. Yeah. That's it. They're shooting their guns. Planes are flying in the air. All 4 is getting demolished by these Eagle Union fleets. and Independence just bombed the entire screen. Ticonderoga also did that, and that is battle number 4. I'm very fluent. Look at August von Parzival. No! Anyway, this is battle number 5 now. And Ticonderoga also gives that nice little Vanguard ship shield in the front, which already disappeared. But we're talking about Independence. So not only is Independence getting that 57% aviation boost currently, but she's also getting some extra weapon efficiencies from her Eagle Union planes. So with that in mind, it's actually really fun to make an Independence fleet where you can focus on giving her as many buffs as possible, because it turns out pretty well. The last mob fleet battle, and just in case I forgot any Eagle Union buffs, please leave that in the comments below, and let's see what Independence's maximum aviation boost can possibly be, because I'm kind of curious, and I probably forgot at least one method of obtaining more aviation for this lovely ship. And also, Independence's splash art for her retrofit looks a billion times better. That's definitely the best reason for why you should be retrofitting her. Heading into the boss battle now, we have Champagne, of course New Jersey, and Warspite in the back, and we have San Francisco and Alan M. Sumner in the front. San Francisco is a very, very good ship. Maybe I should go and do a gear guide on her too. Anyway, they are just shredding through this. I have AP shells equipped on all of my backline ships because, of course, the bosses are medium armor, so once the bosses show up right about now, they're going to get shredded. So there you go. Champagne does a massive amount of damage, and I'm actually thoroughly surprised. The only thing holding her back right now is her low luck stat because I don't have enough blueprints to fate simulation her. But once she gets enough luck, she will be hitting like a truck, and she can do that consistently without missing every other shot. Of course, New Jersey is just an overpowered ship, so then she does a billion damage just with her almost perfect accuracy. And Champagne's back at it again. A nice solid 10,000 for the boys. Warspite also is there, dealing a nice amount of damage, and Maya is gone. Kyokai is left with 9 health, and it looks like this battle should be over for the next battleship proc. Champagne should be able to go and finish the job right about now. So that is the 12-4 battle showcase for Independence. And of course, it's no surprise that New Jersey does a ton of damage. With that battle showcase finished, that will conclude my gear guide for Independence Retrofit. Shoot me, Independence. Anyway, as always, if you found this information helpful, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Don't forget to press the notification bell for any future uploads, and feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions that need to be answered, and I'll try my best to reply. If you're interested, you can always join my Discord server in the description below if you need any advice, or just want a place to relax. That'll be all for this video, so I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! And why does she look so angry right now?